Hi everyone, welcome back to Storytime. This week is the last week of our birdwatching activity, so I would like to read you The Fog, and you will see why. The Fog by Kyo Maclear. Far north, on a wild sea, was an island covered with ice. People came from around the world to visit this special place. Most of the birds living on the island paid little attention to these visitors, but there was one bird, a small yellow warbler, who did pay attention. Warble was a devoted human watcher. There was always a new human for him to watch. Nothing else Warble did made him happier. Here we have a behatted bibliophilic female and a bald-headed glitzy male. But one spring day, something happened to interrupt his happiness. That day, a warm fog rolled in from the sea. All morning long, it wisped and swirled, climbing hills and spilling into valleys. By lunchtime, the brightness of morning had faded to a silvery blue. By dinner time, the fog had turned everything ghostly. For days, Warble sat high in his tree and waited for a strong gust of wind to come lift the fog. He waited and waited. Being a handy warbler, he tried to chase it away with a fan and a trumpet. But no matter what he did, the fog came back. Warble invited his neighbors over to discuss the situation. It's just a little fog. I wouldn't even call it fog. Mist, maybe. Ether, perhaps. Fog? No. The fog has come. Sometimes these things happen. Let us be humble and accept it. I like what it does to my feathers. Only the ducks seem to care. The next morning, a new sign appeared. The renaming of the island had a curious effect. Many of the birds began to forget that there was ever a time before the fog, and the sign says, "Welcome to Fogland." But Warble did not forget, and he had started to notice other changes too. He went to tell the others what he had seen, but they were too busy. Even the ducks had moved on and didn't want to talk about it. The fog continued to spread. Warble still waited in his tree, hoping to spot a human, but there were no more sightings. So he put away his books and tried his best to ignore the fog, until even he began to wonder if things had ever been any different. But then, one foggy morning, Warble spotted a colorful speck in the distance. Peering closely, he saw a dark-haired human ghosting through the meadow. It was a rare female species, and she was singing a song. So this is a red-hooded, spectacled female juvenile. She looked a bit lost. I'm listening. Really? The human also saw the fog. Warble asked the human if she thought there were others who saw the fog too. She was unsure. How could they find out? That's when she had an idea. She opened her backpack and set to work. The human made a paper boat and floated it out to sea. They waited for a reply, but none arrived. So they launched more boats, and again, they waited. Finally, they had an answer. It was a note from a walrus in eastern Canada. "Yes, I see the fog." Another note came from a muskox in Norway. "Yes, and we want to fix it." Another came from some cats in England. "Yes, we see it. Are you a bird? Can we eat you?" Notes arrived from around the world. With each one, the fog began to lift a little, and the wind began to blow again until the world grew a little less ghostly and it became easier to notice things. Big things and tiny things, shiny red things and soft feathery things. And slowly, slowly, the beautiful island brightened, and Warble and the human found time to rest under the stars, which they could now see. The moon drifted in the sky, and they began to sing. They sang to each other and to the moon, and because they were happy to be together, sharing the clear night view. The end. I think it would be very fun if the birds I was watching were watching me back. And I hope you'll join us next time for a story time and next year for another birdwatching adventure. Bye.